Hey there, my modern and unstoppable seniors. Welcome back to Wellness for Modern Seniors, where we tackle the real challenges of aging with wisdom, courage, and absolutely zero sugarcoating. I need to share something with you today that might make you uncomfortable at first, but trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to feel more empowered and hopeful than you have in years. Here's a statistic that'll shock you. Over 14 million seniors in America live alone. That's nearly 30% of all older adults. But here's what the numbers don't tell you. Living alone doesn't have to mean living lonely. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to build a rock-solid support network that'll make your golden years the most fulfilling, connected, and joyful time of your entire life. And I'm not talking about some fantasy. I'm talking about real, practical strategies that thousands of seniors are using right now to transform their lives. But first, let me ask you something, and I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. When was the last time you had a meaningful conversation with someone who truly understood you? When did you last laugh until your stomach hurt with a friend? If you're struggling to remember, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're exactly where you need to be right now. Let me tell you about Margaret. She's 73, lives in a quiet suburb in Ohio, and until 6 months ago, she was living what I call the invisible life. You know what I mean? The kind of life where days blend together, where the highlight of your week is a trip to the grocery store, where you find yourself talking to the TV more than to actual people. Margaret's children live across the country. Her husband passed away 3 years ago. Her longtime neighbors had moved to retirement communities, or, well, some had passed on too. Sound familiar? But here's where Margaret's story gets incredible. Today, she's the coordinator of her neighborhood's Silver Circle, a group of 20 seniors who meet twice a week for everything from book clubs to cooking classes to group travel adventures. She has a phone tree of 12 people who check on each other daily. She's learned to paint, started a community garden, and get this, she's dating again. The transformation didn't happen overnight, and it didn't happen by accident. Margaret followed a specific system, the same system I'm going to share with you today. But before we dive into the how, we need to understand the why. Here's what research from Harvard Medical School tells us. Social isolation isn't just lonely, it's literally killing us. The health impact of chronic loneliness is equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It increases your risk of dementia by 50%, heart disease by 29%, and stroke by 32%. But here's the flip side, and this is where it gets exciting. Seniors with strong social connections live longer, healthier, and happier lives. They have better cognitive function, stronger immune systems, and report feeling 20 years younger than their isolated peers. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. That sounds wonderful, but I don't know where to start. I've been out of the social game for so long. Or maybe you're thinking, I'm too old to make new friends, or people today are different, they don't want to connect like they used to. Let me stop you right there. Those are stories your brain is telling you to keep you safe in your comfort zone. But that comfort zone, it's actually a danger zone for your health and happiness. Here's the truth that no one else will tell you. The golden years aren't golden because of your age. They're golden because of the connections you choose to create. And the best part? You have more power to create these connections than you've ever had in your entire life. Think about it. You've raised families, built careers, survived decades of ups and downs. You have wisdom, experience, and stories that people want to hear. You have skills that communities need. You have time that younger generations are desperately wishing they had. You're not starting from zero, you're starting from a place of incredible strength, but here's where most seniors get it wrong. They wait. They wait for someone else to reach out. They wait for an invitation, they wait for the perfect opportunity, and while they're waiting, months turn into years, and years turn into regret. The seniors who are thriving, like Margaret, they didn't wait. They became the initiators, they became the connectors, they became the community builders. And that's exactly what I'm going to teach you how to do. Now, before we jump into the strategies, I want you to understand something crucial. Building a supportive community isn't about becoming the most popular person in town. It's not about networking for the sake of networking. It's about creating genuine, meaningful relationships that add value to your life and to the lives of others. This is about creating your own personal support ecosystem, a network of people who care about you, check on you, celebrate with you, and yes, who you do the same for in return. Because here's a secret: the best way to feel needed and valued is to make others feel needed and valued. So, my modern and unstoppable seniors, are you ready to stop waiting and start creating? Are you ready to transform your golden years from surviving to absolutely thriving? Because in the next part of this video, I'm going to show you the exact blueprint that Margaret and thousands of others have used to build communities that changed their lives forever. Now that you understand why building a supportive community is literally a matter of life and death, let's talk about the how. And I'm going to start by completely changing how you think about community. Most people think community. Here's one big thing, like joining a club or moving to a retirement community. But the seniors who are absolutely crushing their golden years, they understand something different. They understand what I call the 5 circles of connection. Picture this. You're standing in the center of 5 concentric circles like ripples in a pond. Each circle represents a different type of community, and each serves a unique purpose in your life. The magic happens when you have strong connections in all 5 circles, not just 1 or 2. Let me walk you through each circle, starting from the closest to you and working outward. Circle 1 is your inner circle. This is your core support system. The people who would drop everything to help you in an emergency. This might include family members who truly care, your closest friend or two, maybe a neighbor who's become like family. For most thriving seniors, this circle has 3 to 5 people. Maximum. Quality over quantity here, my friends. Here's what makes Circle 1 special. These are the people who know your medical history, have your emergency contacts, and check on you regularly. They're your safety net and your emotional anchor. If you don't have anyone in this circle right now, don't panic. We're going to fix that. Circle 2 is your activity circle. These are people you regularly do things with. Your walking buddy, your bridge partner, the friend you go to movies with, your crafting group. These relationships are built around shared interests and regular interaction. This circle typically has 8 to 12 people, and here's the beautiful thing. Many of these people can eventually move into your inner circle as relationships deepen. Let me tell you about Robert, 69, from Phoenix. He started with 0 people in any circle. Today, his activity circle includes 10 people he met through his photography club, his volunteering at the local animal shelter, and his weekly coffee group at the community center. 3 of these people have become his closest friends, his new inner circle. Circle 3 is your neighborhood circle. These are people in your immediate geographic area who you know by name and who know you. Your mailman who always waves, the cashier at your grocery store who remembers how you like your coffee, neighbors you chat with over the fence. This circle might have 15 to 25 people, and while these aren't deep relationships, they create a sense of belonging and recognition in your daily environment. Here's why this circle matters more than you think. These people notice when something's different. They're the ones who'll wonder where you are if they don't see you for a few days. They're your early warning system and your daily dose of human connection. Circle 4 is your interest circle. These are people who share your passions, hobbies, or causes, but you might only see them occasionally. Your book club that meets monthly, people in your online gardening forum, fellow volunteers at your favorite charity. This circle can be huge, 50, 100, even more people, and it feeds your intellectual and emotional needs. This is where many seniors make a mistake. They think these casual connections don't matter. Wrong. These relationships keep your mind sharp, expose you to new ideas, and often provide the bridge to deeper friendships. Plus, they give you stories to share and reasons to leave the house. Circle 5 is your community circle. This is the broadest circle, your connection to the larger community around you, your local senior center, your place of worship, community, events, local businesses where you're a regular customer. This might include hundreds of acquaintances, and it creates your sense of belonging to something bigger than yourself. Now here's what's brilliant about this system. Each circle supports and strengthens the others. Someone from your community circle might become part of your interest circle through a shared hobby. Someone from your activity circle might move into your inner circle as you become closer friends. It's a living, breathing ecosystem of relationships. But here's the mistake I see seniors make over and over again. They try to build all 5 circles at once, get overwhelmed and quit. Or they focus only on one circle and wonder why they still feel lonely. The secret is strategic building. Start with the circle that feels most natural to you right now. Build some momentum and confidence, then gradually expand to the other circles. Some of you will find it easier to start with activities. Join a class or club. Others will connect better by helping neighbors or volunteering in your community. There's no right or wrong starting point, but there is a wrong approach. And that's trying to do everything at once or doing nothing at all because it feels overwhelming. Let me share something that might surprise you. Research from Stanford. University shows that seniors who have strong connections in just 3 of these 5 circles report higher life satisfaction than seniors half their age who only focus on family relationships. You don't need to be a social butterfly, you just need to be strategic. And here's another insight that changes everything. Each circle requires different skills and offers different rewards. Your inner circle is about deep trust and vulnerability. Your activity circle is about shared fun and regular interaction. Your interest circle is about intellectual stimulation and learning. Your community circle is about contribution and purpose. When you understand this, you stop putting pressure on every relationship to be everything. You can enjoy your walking buddy without expecting them to be your emergency contact. You can appreciate your book club friends without needing them to call you every day. This takes so much pressure off the process of making friends. You're not looking for one perfect person to fill all your social needs. You're building a diverse network where different people serve different purposes, and you serve different purposes for them. So my modern and unstoppable seniors, which circle feels most appealing to you right now? Which one feels most achievable? Because in our next section, I'm going to give you the exact step-by-step blueprint for building each of these circles, starting with whichever one calls to you most strongly. All right, my modern and unstoppable seniors, this is where the rubber meets the road. You understand the why, you know about the 5 circles of connection. And now it's time for the exact blueprint that's going to transform your social life from the ground up. I'm going to give you what I call the 30-60-90 Connection Challenge, a proven system that takes you from wherever you are right now to having a thriving support network in just 90 days. And yes, it works even if you're starting from 0 connections. But before we dive in, let me address the elephant in the room. Some of you are thinking, this sounds great, but I'm not good at meeting new people, or I don't know how to start conversations with strangers. Here's the truth. You don't need to become a different person. You don't need to become outgoing if you're naturally quiet. You don't need to become a party animal if you prefer small groups. This system works with your personality, not against it. Let's start with your first 30 days, the foundation phase. Day 1 through 7 is all about what I call inventory and intention. You're going to grab a notebook. Yes, an actual notebook, not your phone. And you're going to map your current connections. Write down everyone you currently have some form of relationship with, no matter how small. Your neighbor who nods hello. The pharmacist who knows your name. That person at the community center you've chatted with twice. Don't judge these connections as too small or insignificant. Margaret, remember her from earlier? Her transformation started when she realized she already knew 12 people in her neighborhood by name. She just hadn't thought of them as potential friends. Days 8 through 14, you're going to choose your starting circle. Look at your inventory and ask yourself, where do I have the most existing connections? Where do I feel most comfortable? For some of you, that might be your neighborhood. For others, it might be a hobby or interest you already have. Here's a crucial insight. Start where you already have momentum, not where you think you should start. If you love gardening and there's a community garden nearby, start there, even if you think you should be making friends with your neighbors first. Days 15 through 30, you implement what I call the 2-touch rule. Every week, you have 2 meaningful interactions with people outside your current inner circle. And by meaningful, I don't mean you have to pour your heart out. I mean you have a conversation that goes beyond, "How's the weather?" Let me give you some examples. If you choose a neighbor, maybe the first touch is complimenting their garden and asking for advice about a plant you're struggling with. The second touch, a few days later, might be bringing them a tomato from your garden and updating them on how their advice worked. If you choose an activity-based connection, maybe you join a senior exercise class. First touch, introduce yourself and ask someone how long they've been coming. Second touch, suggest grabbing coffee after class with that same person. The key is consistency and follow through. 2 touches per week every week for the entire 30 days. That's 8 meaningful interactions with potential new friends. And here's what happens. Some won't lead anywhere, and that's perfectly fine. But some will spark something, and that's where the magic begins. Now let's talk about days 31 through 60, the growth phase. This is where you start building on the connections you made in month 1. The people who responded positively to your 2-touch approach. You're going to deepen those relationships. The key word here is initiate. You become the person who suggests getting together, who follows up, who remembers what people told you. Here's a game-changing strategy I call the value-first approach. Instead of thinking, "What can these people do for me?" you think, "What can I do for these people? Do they need help with technology? Are they looking for a walking partner? Do they want someone to go to movies with?" Let me tell you about Eleanor, 71, from Seattle. She was painfully shy and convinced she had nothing to offer new friends. Then she realized she was an excellent baker. She started bringing homemade cookies to her water aerobics class. Within 6 weeks, she had 4 women asking for her recipes, inviting her to coffee, and including her in their weekend plans. Her value was her baking skills, but what she was really offering was care and thoughtfulness. During this phase, you're also going to expand to a second circle. If you started with neighborhood connections, maybe now you explore interest-based connections. If you started with activities, maybe now you focus on being more connected in your immediate neighborhood. The goal for month 2 is to have at least 3 people you interact with weekly, and to have tried connecting in at least 2 different circles. Days 61 through 90 is the momentum phase, and this is where everything starts to compound. By now, you should have several budding friendships and a much clearer sense of where you connect best with people. This is when you start thinking about deeper involvement. Maybe you volunteer to help organize an event. Maybe you start a small group based on a shared interest. Maybe you become the person who connects other people you've met. Here's what's successful. Community builders understand. The more you become a connector for others, the more central you become to the community. When you introduce 2 people who become friends, you become valuable to both of them. When you organize a group activity, you become the person others think of when they want to do something social. Let me share the story of Frank, 76, from Denver. After following this 90-day system, he realized that several people he'd met were interested in local history but didn't know each other. So he organized a monthly history walk group where they'd explore different neighborhoods and share stories. That group now has 15 regular members, and Frank has become the unofficial social coordinator for his entire senior community. But here's the part that will really excite you. By day 90, the system starts running itself. You're not having to work so hard to create connections because you've become someone that others want to connect with. You've become what sociologists call a social hub, someone who naturally brings people together. Now, I know some of you are thinking, this sounds like a lot of work. And you're right, it is work, especially at the beginning. But here's what I want you to consider. What's the alternative? Staying isolated, hoping someone else will reach out to you, waiting for connections to magically appear. The beautiful truth is that every hour you invest in building connections pays dividends for years to come. And unlike other investments, this one gets easier and more rewarding the more you put into it. There's one more crucial element to this system, and it's what separates the seniors who build lasting communities from those who make a few surface-level acquaintances and then plateau. You have to be willing to be vulnerable. Not oversharing, not dumping your problems on new acquaintances, but being genuinely yourself. Share your interests, your opinions, your stories. Ask questions about others' lives and actually listen to the answers. Be willing to admit when you don't know something. Be willing to ask for help sometimes and be willing to offer help in return. The connections that transform into real friendships are built on authenticity, not on trying to be who you think other people want you to be. So my modern and unstoppable seniors, are you ready to commit to 90 days of intentional connection building? Are you ready to stop waiting for community to find you and start creating the community you deserve? Now, my modern and unstoppable seniors, let's talk about the real stuff. The obstacles that make you want to give up before you even start. The voice in your head that says, "This won't work for me because," followed by whatever excuse feels most convincing that day. I've worked with thousands of seniors over the years, and I can predict with 90% accuracy what's going through your mind right now. You're thinking this system sounds great in theory, but you have unique circumstances that make it impossible for you. Let me guess. Maybe you're thinking, I don't have transportation, or I don't have money for activities, or I have health issues that make socializing difficult, or people my age don't want to make new friends, or I've been hurt before, and I don't want to risk it again. Here's what I want you to understand. Every single one of these obstacles is real, valid, and absolutely solvable. Not dismissible, solvable. There's a massive difference. Let's start with the big one. I don't have reliable transportation. This stops more seniors from building community than any other single factor. But here's what the connected seniors figured out. You don't need to go everywhere to build everywhere connections. Take Martha, 78, from rural Kansas. She hasn't driven in 2 years due to vision issues. Her nearest neighbor is half a mile away, and the closest senior center is 20 miles. Sounds impossible, right? Martha now has a thriving social network of 15 people. How? She started with her one existing connection, her neighbor who brings her groceries once a week. She asked if she could ride along to the store sometimes, offering to help carry bags. That neighbor introduced her to 2 other neighbors who also help seniors with errands. Martha then discovered that her local library has a homebound delivery service. The volunteer who delivers her books, she's now one of Martha's closest friends, and she's connected Martha to 3 other homebound seniors who now have a weekly phone circle. The transportation barrier became Martha's pathway to connection. The key was working with her limitations, not against them. Next obstacle. I can't afford to join clubs or pay for activities. This one breaks my heart because it's often used as an excuse when free options are everywhere. But let's address the real concern. You're on a fixed income and you're worried about costs. Here's the truth. The best community building activities cost nothing. Walking groups, library book clubs, volunteer opportunities, neighborhood associations, many religious organizations, community gardens, all free. Even activities that do cost money often have scholarships or sliding scale fees for seniors. But here's the deeper issue. Sometimes the "I can't afford it" excuse is really "I don't feel worthy of investing in my social life." Listen to me carefully. Your well-being is not a luxury expense. It's a necessity investment. Harold, 81, from Tampa, lived on Social Security alone. He told me he couldn't afford the $50 monthly fee for the senior center. I asked him how much he spent on coffee each month, $42. We redirected half of that coffee budget to his social life. Harold now coordinates the senior center's chess tournament and has 6 regular playing partners who've become genuine friends. The third obstacle. My health issues make it too complicated. This is where I see the biggest transformation when seniors shift their mindset. Your health challenges don't disqualify you from community. They actually make you more valuable to the right community. Consider diabetes management groups, arthritis support circles, caregiver support networks, or gentle exercise classes designed for people with mobility issues. These aren't just support groups. They're thriving communities where people share recipes, travel together, celebrate birthdays, and genuinely care about each other's well-being. Dorothy, 73, has severe arthritis that makes walking difficult. She joined an online community for seniors with arthritis, which led to discovering 3 other women in her city with the same condition. They now meet monthly for Arthritis and Art, a painting group, where they create art together and share strategies for managing their condition. Dorothy says these women understand her struggles in ways her own family never could. Your health challenges give you instant common ground with people facing similar issues. That's not a barrier, that's a bridge. Fourth obstacle. People today are different. They're not friendly like they used to be. This one usually comes from fear disguised as social commentary. Yes, technology has changed how people interact. Yes, some social norms have shifted. But here's what hasn't changed. People still want genuine connection. They still appreciate kindness. They still respond to authentic interest in their lives. The seniors who use this excuse are often the same ones who don't smile at strangers, don't make eye contact, and don't initiate conversations. They're waiting for the world to be friendly to them without being friendly to the world. Be the person you want to meet. Be the neighbor you wish you had. Be the friend you're looking for. I guarantee you'll find that people haven't changed as much as you think. The fifth obstacle, and this one's tough. I've been hurt before. I don't want to. Risk being rejected or disappointed again. Maybe you had a friend who betrayed your trust. Maybe you were excluded from a group. Maybe someone you cared about moved away or passed away. These experiences create what psychologists call social wounds, and they're absolutely real. But here's what I've learned from helping seniors work through this. The risk of staying isolated is far greater than the risk of being hurt again. And more importantly, past hurt doesn't predict future relationships any more than one bad meal means. You should stop eating. You're not looking for one perfect friend who will never disappoint you. You're building a network of varied relationships, each serving different purposes. Some will be deeper, some will be lighter. Some will last decades, others might be seasonal. All of them add value to your life. The final obstacle I want to address: I'm too old to start over with making friends. This one makes me want to shake people gently and say, wake up. You're not too old for anything that brings you joy and connection. You have decades of life experience that younger people find fascinating. You have skills, stories, and wisdom that communities desperately need. Age doesn't disqualify you from friendship. It qualifies you for deeper, more meaningful relationships because you understand what really matters in life. Here's what I want you to do right now. Pick the obstacle that resonates most with you. Write it down. Then write 3 specific actions you could take to work around that obstacle. Not eliminate it entirely, just work around it. Can't drive? Research walking distance opportunities or transportation services for seniors. Worried about money? List 5 free activities in your area. Health concerns? Look into condition-specific groups or activities adapted for your needs. The goal isn't to make the obstacles disappear, it's to make them irrelevant to your success. My modern and unstoppable seniors, every obstacle you face has been faced and overcome by thousands of seniors before you. You're not uniquely disadvantaged. You're uniquely positioned to create the exact community that fits your life, your personality, and your circumstances. The question isn't whether you can overcome these obstacles. The question is, will you? My modern and unstoppable seniors, we've covered a lot of ground together today. You now understand why building a supportive community is literally a matter of life and death. You know about the 5 circles of connection and how they work together to create a thriving social ecosystem. You have the exact 30, 60, 90-day blueprint that thousands of seniors have used to transform their lives. And you know how to overcome the obstacles that stop most people before they even start. But here's the moment of truth. All of this information is completely worthless unless you take action. And I don't mean someday action. I don't mean next week action, I mean today action. Here's your immediate action plan, what I call your community launch sequence. Within the next 24 hours, you're going to do 3 specific things. First, you're going to grab that notebook I mentioned earlier and spend 15 minutes mapping your current connections. Every person you know, no matter how casually. The grocery store clerk who knows your name, the neighbor you wave to, the person at your doctor's office who always asks how you're doing. Write them all down. This isn't homework. This is you discovering the foundation you already have to build upon. Second, you're going to choose your starting circle. Look at your list and ask yourself, where do I have the most existing connections? Where do I feel most confident? That's your starting point. Don't overthink this. There's no wrong choice, only the choice you don't make. Third, you're going to schedule your first touch for this week. Not plan it, not think about it, schedule it. Put it in your calendar with a specific day and time. If you chose your neighborhood circle, maybe it's Tuesday at 10 a.m. when you're going to compliment your neighbor's garden and ask for advice. If you chose an activity circle, maybe it's Thursday at 2 p.m. when you're going to call the community center and ask about their upcoming classes. The specific action doesn't matter. What matters is that you commit to taking it within the next 7 days. Here's what I know about you, my modern and unstoppable seniors. You've survived decades of challenges. You've raised families, built careers, weathered losses, and celebrated victories. You have everything you need inside you right now to build the community that will make your golden years truly golden. The only thing standing between you and a thriving social life is the decision to begin. Not the perfect plan, not the ideal circumstances, not the guarantee of success, just the decision to take that first small step. And here's something beautiful. That's going to happen. Once you start, you're going to remember something you might have forgotten. You're going to remember that you're interesting, that you have stories worth telling, that you have skills people need, that you have wisdom people want, that you have care and kindness that the world desperately needs. Building community isn't just about what you get, it's about what you give. And you have so much to give. Let me paint a picture for you. 6 months from now, you wake up on a Tuesday morning and your phone buzzes with a good morning text from your walking partner. You have lunch plans with 2 friends you met at the community garden. You are coordinating a group trip to the local museum with 5 other people from your book club. Your neighbor calls to check on you because they noticed you seemed a little under the weather yesterday. And that evening, you're hosting a small dinner party for people who have become not just friends but family. This isn't fantasy. This is the reality that thousands of seniors are living right now because they made the decision to stop waiting and start building. This can be your reality too, but only if you decide that you deserve it and you're willing to work for it. Remember Margaret from the beginning of our time together? The 73-year-old from Ohio who was living that invisible life? Today she texted me a photo from her Silver Circle's potluck dinner. 23 people gathered around tables, laughing, sharing stories, planning their next adventure together. In the center of the photo is Margaret, beaming with joy, surrounded by people who care about her and whom she cares about deeply. That transformation didn't happen because Margaret was special or because she got lucky. It happened because she decided that loneliness was not how her story was going to end. Your story doesn't have to end with loneliness either. Your golden years can be truly golden, filled with laughter, friendship, purpose, and connection. But it starts with a decision, and that decision has to be made by you, and it has to be made now. So here's my challenge to you, my modern and unstoppable seniors. Stop making excuses, stop waiting for permission, stop hoping someone else will make the first move. You are the author of your own story, and you get to decide what the next chapter looks like. Your community is out there waiting for you. They don't know they're waiting for you yet, but they are. They need what you have to offer, just as much as you need what they have to offer. The only question is, are you brave enough to go find them? I believe you are. I believe in you. Now it's time for you to believe in yourself and take that first courageous step toward the connected, fulfilling life you deserve. My modern and unstoppable seniors, you've just discovered the secrets to building an incredible support network that will transform your golden years from lonely to legendary. But here's the thing. Knowledge without action is just wishful thinking. So right now I want you to take that first brave step. Smash that subscribe button if you're ready to join thousands of seniors who are living their most vibrant, connected lives. Ring that notification bell because I'm dropping life-changing senior wellness content every week that will keep you thriving, not just surviving. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's one thing you're going to do this week to start building your supportive community? I read every single comment, and I will respond to you personally because your success matters to me. Share this video with another senior who needs to hear this message. Be their hero today by showing them that their best years are still ahead of them. And if you want even more strategies for creating an amazing social life after 60, check out the video I'm linking right here, where I reveal the 5 biggest mistakes seniors make when trying to make new friends and how to avoid every single one of them. Remember, my modern and unstoppable seniors, your community is waiting for you. The only question is, are you ready to go find them? I'll see you in the next video, where we're going to dive even deeper into living your absolute best life. Until then, keep being unstoppable.